Hey everyone, it's Christina Quick, the Tarot Biz Mentor. Welcome back to another video in our series of Rapid Tarot for Fortune Telling. In this video, we're going to be talking about the wands. And the wands are the fire in the deck. So depending on your deck, you may have fire or wands or something else, but it's the elemental of fire. And typically speaking in fortune telling, fire is going to be action cards. It's going to be the passion cards. And typically speaking, it's usually going to be talking about progressing in one's life, moving their career forward, um, starting out new adventures, that sort of thing. So we're going to start with the Ace of Wands. And the Ace of Wands is a passionate beginning. It's very passionate. Aces, if in fortune telling, typically are opportunities or kind of like a spark that's going to lead to something, an inspiration that's going to lead to something. So the Ace of Wands would be something like this could be a job offer, it could be a business idea, it could even be a romantic spark that leads to like a passionate kind of relationship. The Two of Wands is about planning for the future. Twos in fortune telling are about choices, right? It's about having multiple choices, multiple paths in front of you. And so the Two of Wands in this case can be a choice between two paths. It can also represent travel, okay, looking abroad. Um, if you are getting this card when you're coming up with travel, it could be about looking at different places that they may want to move. It could be like a relocation opportunity, but it could also be like moving. But it could also, if it's not about moving, if it's not about relocating, then it's probably about being able to see that there are many decisions ahead of you and trying to figure out which one to choose. The Three of Wands is about your ships coming in. What does that mean? It means that there's been a lot of careful planning in the twos, and the three, something actually begins to materialize. And so this is something that they have been working on for a long period of time. And finally, there seems to be some kind of movement with that. But you can see, again, he's just sitting here kind of waiting for things to come in. And so he's waiting and watching. So it's a period of things are coming to fruition, but you're still waiting for that to kind of come about, like waiting for that fruition to come into being. It could mean moving. It's usually this is a really good business card. So this is like moving forward in business. It could be collaborating with business, but basically moving to that next stage, taking that next step. The Four of Wands is a really celebratory card. It's usually a milestone card. So often I see this coming up when people are graduating college or they're buying a house for the first time or they're expecting their first child or they're getting married or something along those lines. They win a game, tournament, or something like that. It's usually something like something that you've been working towards a goal for a long period of time, and then now finally it's arrived. Now finally we have the reason to celebrate, right? So it's going to that next level, finally hitting that goal that you've been working towards for a long period of time and having something to celebrate about. The Five of Wands. So this is a card of competition, arguments. If you've ever heard of the phrase "too many chefs in the kitchen," um, it's about obstacles, but usually obstacles that other people are presenting. So sometimes in tarot, we'll see obstacles that are coming in from like outside events, but this particularly is obstacles coming from other people, right? All fighting for the vision, unable to agree. And it's like this infighting that's blocking whatever the client is trying to manifest or bring about in their life. It's usually rivalry, right? This could be the drama card too. It's like The situation is like kind of developing over time. It gets really, really tense. This can also point to a lot of like disagreements, also frustration, right? So the challenge, and it's one of those things where you can get over it, but it's like you've got to tell people they've got to step away from the drama, either that or take charge of the situation. Six of Wands is victory, public recognition, success, and adventure. This is a great business card. This is also a card I see a lot of times when I have questions that, or I'm dealing with politicians, right? So it could represent some kind of like promotion or award, some kind of like public achievement, some kind of public recognition. And typically speaking, it's positive. And that other people, it's like a popular card, right? Like other people are starting to take notice, starting to see you as someone to be celebrated. The Seven of Wands is about defense. It's someone who's very defensive, right? Or feels like they have to be very defensive. Defending your position, overcoming opposition. So, like in the Five of Wands, we see like a whole bunch of people are arguing. Well, in this one, it's just one person defending their domain against any type of attack, right? So, someone who's very defensive. But it's also like this person is in a position of power, it looks like too, right? Like they're obviously safeguarding what they have accumulated. So it's this card is always like continuing to hold your ground, right? It's about holding your ground and feeling like you've got to hold your ground. Eight of Wands is like the chaos card. Fast movement, travel, swift news arriving. So you enter fortune telling. This is usually like some kind of letter or some kind of correspondence that would be coming in. Also, this is a whirlwind of activity is going on, right? Like if they're wondering like how something is progressing, that it's progressing at a very fast rate. It's progressing at a very accelerated rate. It's an action card. So if someone has been waiting around for something, then you could probably tell them that they can probably come to expect a result soon. It doesn't necessarily mean that the results are going to be positive or negative, but that like basically news is on the way. And things are going to arrive sooner than expected. There's a sense of urgency, a sense of acceleration with this card. The Nine of Wands is about exhaustion, but perseverance and like being at that spot where they're confused about whether they want to continue or not. And it's always kind of like at this one is like running a marathon, right? It sounds like a great idea until you're about three-quarters of the way in, and then you start losing your steam, wondering if this is ever going to end and wondering if you're ever going to reach the finish line. So this is a card about being very close to victory, right? But feeling unsure if they can keep going. And this is kind of like a point where people's energy sort of fizzles out. But this is a card of perseverance, right? So ultimately, it's telling the person to push forward, and it can represent recovery is necessary to basically recover from a stressful or traumatic kind of situation. It just may be that this person needs to take a little bit of a timeout before, slow down a little bit and just slow and steady wins the race. Ten of Wands is about burdens. I've seen this just recently when I was at doing a psychic fair. The lady had come in and I was at my table and she was getting a psychic reading done. And this was one of the cards that she had locked in on and was in her spread. And she was really looking at it and really kind of zoning in on it. And so I said, okay, let's talk about that, right? And she said, well, taking care of my parents, I don't really have help, and my brother and my sister aren't helping me at all. It's just me, and I'm feeling like I'm feeling like I can't, it's so hard to carry all of this, right? So it's a Ten of Wands is a card where people have been taking on so much, all these burdens, and then it's starting to like take a toll, right? Um, and they're doing it seemingly all by themselves. So this is a card of exhaustion, stress, feeling really like overwhelmed with their responsibilities, and burnout, right? So this is really a card about like letting go of things that are unnecessary. That's what I always tell people when I see this one. What is necessary, right? Page of Wands. This is so pages in fortune telling are about a couple different things. One, they're about learning or taking on something new. So there's a newness, there's a freshness to the two pages, and then there's also it could be a message as well. So I often see pages coming as messages because you think about what is a page, right? A page is like a someone that a knight or someone in those olden times would send around to do their duties. So they kind of go around and they inform people of things, give pass the news around, go learn things to help their person that they serve, all that kind of stuff. So um, it's really exciting. It's a really exciting kind of childlike, youthful energy. And the main key theme here is around exploration, like just trying something new. It can also be a message or offer that could be really exciting. And oftentimes it's like unexpected. So this could be an unexpected job or opportunity. This could be travel, an upcoming trip that you weren't necessarily planning on. It could also be a new person, right? So this is about fresh experiences that could be maybe even a little spontaneous. The Knight of Wands, adventure, travel, fast moving, and passionate individual. So I always, when in fortune telling, we're going to look at the knights, queens, and kings as potential people or energies, right? So it depends on how you like to read. But if this was a person, it would be a very passionate individual. This is the person that shows up early for work, leaves late, comes in on their days off, never takes sick days, that kind of thing, right? That kind of person who's always willing to go out, do something, go find some adventure to get into it. It's a really fiery, passionate kind of energy. It could be romantic, it could be job related, but the thing with knights is that they're very fast moving and it can be a little bit unpredictable. So whenever you see a knight, in particular the Knight of Wands, there's going to be a big change coming in. The Queen of Wands, this is a charismatic, powerful woman, confidence in action, and confidence being the key word for the Queen of Wands. This is the most confident card, in my opinion, in the whole deck. It's about being a very strong person, a confident person. It could also be the querent, like taking on this role, stepping into their power. I also, magnetism is also a word I use, like charismatic, right? Like this is the type of person that you want to be around. It can also be coming up in like career readings as taking the lead, or I've even seen this one, especially if you have a lot of pentacles around there, someone starting their own business. And finally, the King of Wands. This is a visionary leader taking bold steps forward. So this is about stepping into an influential role, stepping into a leadership role, and particularly around success, like cultivating success in one's life. So if your querent comes in and they're like, I'm not sure if I really want to move forward this decision, the King of Wands is saying, yeah, take the steps, man, take the bold steps forward, and that the time is right to take action right now. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I will see you in the next one for the Wands Reversed.